Welcome to the Mix and Match podcast. This is still a work in progress, so we hope you'll be patient with us. Mix and Match makes every attempt to bring together the crafts inspired by the music and the music inspired by crafts. We'll introduce you to creators of all kinds who find inspiration and drive from music. In some cases, they will be writers. In others, painters, potters, nurses, doctors, mechanics, maybe even some cobblers. In short, they'll be members of our tribe, artisans and creators from all walks of life. Embedded in each episode will be a playlist of songs, hand-picked by our guest, because where there is music, there is inspiration. And where there is inspiration, there is music. Welcome to Mix and Match. Thank you for joining us.
So let's kick it underway.
All right.
Is that how you say it? Kick it underway.
Kick it off, get it underway.
Yeah. Let's do
all
that.
All that stuff, all the things.
Who is Kevin Alexander? Who are you?
Well, I mean, I can only be me, right? No, I am just a suburban middle-aged dad out here in the Midwest. I'm that guy that in high school was making mixtapes for everybody and later on ripping CDs. Never really stopped, spent a lot of my teens and 20s going to shows and writing. I tried to be a musician and that flamed out pretty fast and figured out it was much easier and much better for everyone if I just wrote about it. So I did that for a while. And then sort of had a few people tell me it wasn't any good and believed them. And then fast forward about 25 years-ish, to the pandemic when I realized I really missed that sort of music discovery and talking to people about it. And I was really kind of sick of being spoon-fed stuff by an algorithm, which is, it can be good for discovery, but it's not the same as someone saying, putting a tape into your hand and saying, you got to hear this, or, leaning over from the back seat and plugging an aux cord in. And around that same time, my kids had to go to online school for the pandemic. And so I decided I was going to go back to school too. And, in some sort of, solidarity move, but it was really just writing for social media, which was an elective credit in a degree I had sort of stopped. Some of it was really easy and some of it was actually pretty hard. But what it did do was reignite that love for writing. And I started putting those pieces together, just started writing again, and first found Medium, which is where you and I first connected. Then got some traction there. And then I moved to Substack, and I've just been this current iteration about 2 years now, I think.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Turned 2 in September.
It's tough going back to school as a middle-aged guy, isn't it?
It was tough going back to school as a middle-aged guy. Yeah. And, some of it was incredibly easy. Like one of my assignments was, they started right from ground zero and covered a lot of bases. One of them was literally send your instructor a DM on Twitter, which was probably the easiest assignment I've ever had ever. And then it went all the way to like building your own WordPress site and SEO and, why writing online is different than, analog writing. And it was actually more comprehensive than I thought I was getting into, but the end run turned out to be really great. So I'm really happy I did it.
You run On Repeat Substack. Now let's make sure we get the vernacular right. Now, is it a newsletter? Is Substack an adjective? Is that do you run a Substack or do you run a newsletter? How does the dialogue work?
I would say that I have a newsletter and community that is hosted on Substack.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
And what is On Repeat?
So On Repeat is a newsletter. I used to have a tagline that my tagline used to be that it's like your favorite music magazine, but without the Hyundai ads, which was, probably too clever by half, but that's kind of what it is. It's new music, future classics, forgotten favorites, surfacing newer artists, interviews, playlists. It's a little bit of everything, but at its core, it's a vehicle for music discovery for people like me that missed that sort of human touch when it came to finding new stuff. Whether it was, making, it's sort of like making digital mixtapes, if you will. Mm-hmm. I wanted a place where people could come, not just to find new music, but to share stuff they had also found. And, we're sort of a hub for all of that sort of thing, whether it's new artists or sharing, something that they loved from 20 years ago or, whatever direction that might take.
So do you publish on a regular basis?
So I publish currently 4 times a week.
Okay.
And one of those, I kick off the week with a playlist of whatever I've been listening to, and also host a discussion thread where other people can either share what they've been listening to or chime in with whatever thoughts they might have. Other writers have also used it as a place to share links to what they've been doing, which is totally fine by me. That's the place to do it if you're going to link drop. And then, so it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday.
You offer, Substack, they have free and paid subscriptions.
Correct.
What's the difference for On Repeat between the paid and the free?
So I have sort of gone back and forth with which model best to use. Right now, it is pretty similar to like an NPR model or a Patreon model where paid subscribers are really keeping the lights on and helping me keep doing the work and allowing other people to read it. That money also, a portion of that also goes to support other writers or independent projects. As far as tangible stuff, I've kind of gone back and forth between like bonus content and not. Right now, what I do is every Saturday I have usually like an essay or just some, missive, and then a whole bunch of links from around the music industry, things I've been reading or stuff that might be of interest, release dates and things like that. So it's sort of a blend between the two, and it's very much a work in progress. I keep iterating it and figuring out what I think is best because not only do I obviously want to offer people value for their money and for their time and investing in my project, but I also don't want to get caught up in like having to I'll probably wind up overthinking it and worry that I'm not offering enough, I guess is what I'm trying to say, which I think is something that a lot of us as writers do. And I think, I don't want to go too far off into the weeds here, but I think there's a disconnect. I think as writers, we're always worried we're not offering enough. And readers, the value is hearing that particular author, like a voice, especially on a place like Medium or definitely on Substack, where they're more interested in the person on the other side of the screen, the writer, and that sort of direct access to their work.
I think that's the curse of the creative.
Yeah, I think you're right. All of that was a long way around to say, I'm not really sure yet, and I haven't quite sussed out what the perfect blend is, but I do offer paid. I'm extremely fortunate in that a lot of people are paid subscribers, and like I said, it allows me to keep doing this, which is some of the funnest stuff I do all week. So it's incredible.
Tell me about supporting other writers.
So I saw a phrase, and I'd love to take credit for it, but I saw a phrase where someone described it as artistic tithing, which I thought was great, and it maps out. Where I grew up, everybody supported everyone. It's just sort of what you did. There was no, someone was doing work you were into, you weren't duty bound, but you just, it was just normal to talk it up or share it. And when I first got into the online world today, A lot of it was really transactional and kind of, follow for follow, and, I'll read yours, you read mine. And it was really kind of weird. And I didn't want any part of that. But what I did want to do is, when I found people's work that I genuinely liked, I wanted to invest in it. And whether that was, talking it up at every chance, whether it was on Substack, taking out a paid subscription for musicians, buying their work off a place like Bandcamp. And so what I do is I earmark a percentage of every subscription dollar that comes into a pool, and that's where it goes. Wow. So some of it is, like I said, for other Substacks. I've bought quite a bit of music on Bandcamp. There's a few authors, like our mutual friend S.W. Loudon, bought a couple of his books. I mean, the community has bought a couple of his books. One of my patrons is very much involved in a prison ministry charity that he truly believes in. And so this past year, I donated to that on our collective behalf.
Wow.
Just things like that.
Where did you grow up that this was part of the community?
I grew up in one of the suburbs of Portland, Oregon, Beaverton, right down the street from Nike.
There you go. That's why I knew it. I knew the name.
Like literally right down the street from Nike World headquarters.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Seriously, no, I didn't know that about On Repeat. I didn't know you did that. And that's, What are your plans for On Repeat? Do you want to grow it into something larger?
So I would like to, obviously I would like to grow its reach and its audience and its revenue. Those are all easy answers, I suppose. I would like to, and I'm sort of teasing it out, I would like to grow into more long form stuff. I would like to get into publishing. I don't know what direction quite yet that would take. And if I'm really dreaming big, it would be pretty rad if it became, sort of a boutique record label. But again, sort of all under one roof. Mm-hmm. Right now, that's more aspirational than realistic, but it's all on the drawing board. So in the meantime, more interviews with people, more collaborations with other artists and writers, and that sort of thing.
Wow, that's very cool. I didn't know any of that. So you do a thing called a reader's poll. Tell us a little bit about your reader's poll.
So I've been trying as part of to building the community because I really think that's what makes it great. We can talk about writing all day long, but it's the community has really sort of, propelled this further than I thought it could. And I wanted to include them more. And to tie into our earlier thing, one of the things I did late last year was there's a lot of people in that community making a lot of cool shit is the short version. Whether it's a podcast like Abandoned Albums, books, musicians. So the first thing I did was I wanted to give a place where people could sort of like a marketplace, like, hey, I've got this thing and you should check it out. Or, I'm doing graphic design. If you need a logo, hit me up. So that was one of the things. And the other thing I did was a year-end poll. All of us, you and I'm sure read a bazillion year-end album of the year lists.
You probably read more. I ignored a whole bunch.
Okay, probably. But what I didn't hear was what everyone else was thinking. Like I had my top 10. I've shared it a whole bunch of times. I read, X, Y. And so what I did was I kind of turned it around and I wanted to hear what other people were thinking. What was everyone else's favorite record? What were their favorite tracks this year? How about an EP? And I got a lot more responses than I thought. Like I probably should figure out how better to format it next year, but, and it was great. I really wanted to hear what was going on the other side of the screen. And I really want this project to be more of a two-way or omnidirectional chat than just me, spewing stuff out and, it only being one way. So, I thought it was great. I think people liked it. It'll be a regular feature, I think.
So tell us about the readers poll, as this will be the playlist.
I asked people for their favorite records, their favorite EP, LP, favorite EP, favorite songs. And then I also used it just as a pulse check too, like any other comments, good, bad, or other. This is another place you can do that. I think I got about 120 or 130 songs total back. And what was interesting to me is that I obviously I read every comment and every email that comes in, and I thought I had a pretty good idea of what would come back. And I didn't.
Wow. Okay.
I did. There was a lot of sort of what I expected responses for the LPs. The EPs, I wasn't entirely sure because I never really know. And then the songs, one song got more than one vote and all the rest were unique submissions. So I thought that was kind of cool, which obviously is a testament to the broad interest of the reader base, but also the kind of year 2023 was for music. So one Yolo Tanga song got more than one vote, and that was it. Yeah. And it got two unique submissions. So that was great. And then LP wise, and then the favorite, live or reissue or remix record, which Tim the replacements, Tim Let It Bleed. I was very happy to see that was one of my favorites. Nobody voted for Stop Making Sense, this remaster, which was
really?
No, which was a bummer. Nobody voted for New Order Substance, which was, a bummer, probably only for me, but it was such a variety of responses, but a ton of insight into what people are listening to that I probably wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And those are fun polls. I mean, people want to see, their response or what everyone else is reading too. So
here are the songs from the On Repeat readers poll. They're in no particular order.
Smash, battle, crack, curveball, push the rules to the edge. No safe songs for giving it. I'm the killer, the blood spiller, the witch killer. I'm the killer. Killer, killer, killer. Killer, killer, killer. Killer, killer, killer. Killer, monster. Whoa! Projectility, reptile in the whirlwind, whirlwind that came ready me like something new. Who was the slave, master of you, elimination, hallucination, revenge is dinner, which is the dinner. I'm the healer, the god killer, the fake killer. I'm the killer. I'm the healer, blood killer, witch killer. Healer, healer. I'm the healer, god killer, fake killer. Healer, healer. I'm the healer, blood killer, witch killer. Healer, healer. I'm the healer, god killer, fake killer. It's
tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. Fuck it, it's fine. Yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. The biggest lie I ever said. Oh yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. His trips fell into his bed. Now I'm getting in the car, wrecking all my plans. I know I should stop, but I can't. And I told my friends it was asleep, but I never said where. In his jeans. I pull up to your place on the second floor, and you're standing smiling at the door. And I'm sure I've seen much hotter men, but I really can't remember when. My brain goes, oh, can't hear my thoughts. Like blah, blah, blah. Should probably not. Seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight, it's a bad idea, right? Seeing you tonight. Fuck it, it's fine. Yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. The biggest lie I ever said. Oh yes, I know that he's my ex, but can't two people reconnect? I only see him as a friend. His trips and fell into his bed. Oh yes, I know that he's my ex. Can't two people reconnect? The biggest lie I ever said.
say you win if I win.
In order, these are the songs you just heard.
Too Far by a band called X-Pilots. And I want real quick, just on a tangent. So this was submitted by a guy named Jason Lambeth, who is in a band called Red Pants, whose record was one of my top 10 this year. And the real quick backstory there is that I didn't know who he was, and we had connected. He had seen one of my posts where I mentioned the local college station and had messaged me. And so we were messaging back and forth, and then quickly figured out that not only did he live here in Madison, but also in my same suburb, but literally right down the street.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he lives like 10 houses down.
Cool.
So, which is super rad. It's a great record. His record is called Not Quite There Yet. But he picked X-Pilots as one of his records of the year and songs of the year. So Too Far is one. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Gila Monster was another one, which they sort of were a recurrent theme this year in reader responses. And I never really got on that bandwagon, but only started listening after I kept seeing them come up in comments and emails. Let's see. Ring of Past by Men I Trust was a good one. Panopticon by Peter Gabriel off his new record.
Okay.
Let's see. This Ain't It by Jason Isbell and the 400 Unit, which is actually, I did not submit that, but that is probably my favorite song on that record, which was one of my top 10. Let's see. Bad Idea Right by Olivia Rodrigo, who got a few votes. Let's see. I have no idea. Are we up to 5?
6.
Morning Zoo by Rat Boys was another fantastic one. Sinatra Drive Breakdown was the song I was trying to think of earlier as the one that got multiple votes. Don't Give Up by Black Belt Eagle Scout was a great one. Tarantula by Drop 19s, who showed up after 30 years and put out one of my favorite records of 2023.
What's the criteria that went into your top 10?
My own personal top 10 was incredibly subjective in that if I liked it a lot, I marked it. And then if I found myself coming back to it over and over the course of the year, or however, since it had been released, that was pretty much it. A lot of there was a lot of records this year that came out that I loved for about 2 weeks and then promptly forgot about, or just kind of fell off my radar. But a lot of them, these ones were ones that I felt had wheels and really stayed with me throughout the year, where I would either, come back to it kind of out of nowhere, or it never really was too far away from a playlist, or, I never really put the record back into the shelf. It sort of was always out, propped up against the cabinet. And so if it was one of those, then it was luck. And then from there, it was just sort of, I came up with I think I had like 20, and then it was trying to force rank them, which was really not easy to do.
Sure.
The only real guardrail I had was the ones that were, either live albums or remixes or remasters were their own separate column. I did not include those, but other than that, if I loved it on its merits, then it was in the mix.
When we talk about a writing community, a music writing community, you and I are speaking at a time when music writing has all but disappeared. Really, that's hyperbolic. There's been a real crash and a real consolidation in music writers. Do you think that's the role of Substack? And one question, or a role, not the singular role of Substack.
Right.
And then second question, how do you see the future of music writing? Big picture.
So I would say, well, first, I wholly agree that it's been a minefield. I think, sort of zooming out a little bit, it used to be really, we would read magazines, whether it was Rolling Stone or the old version of Spin. And then it became, and there was sort of that. And then there was, zines like Flip Side or Maximum Rock and Roll. And then with the rise of the internet, that kind of all went aside, and we all kind of went to these sort of same central places depending on taste, and maybe more defined by our taste. Some of us went to rollingstone.com, some went to Pitchfork, wherever. As those ad-supported models aren't sustainable anymore or aren't working, I think it's sort of coming back to the old version, but in a new way, if that makes sense. Like, I think I see all of these Substacks and indie blogs and other things as sort of the 2024 version of like what Flipside was or what Comet Bus was. I think perhaps more than anything else, we're a lot better equipped to look at underground bands or surface new stuff or really hone in on a specific niche, if that's what you do. Like S.W. Loudon only covers power pop as a rule generally, or, someone else covers music, through a queer lens, which is maybe not, neither of those are something that would be sustainable on a ad supported model like Pitchfork, or but you can do it in a place like this, and you can do it online, and you have two advantages. One, obviously you have a lot less overhead, but it is still accessible. I mean, we're on the internet. Substack has now a social network and a discovery algorithm, and there's there's a flywheel behind you where you're not just grinding it out and throwing things out into the ether and hoping for the best. So my sort of elevator pitch is that there is no better place to write music right now than Substack, and that writing matters now more than ever. I think sort of, if you want to widen the aperture a little bit and take a 50,000 foot level, I think whether it's solely online or even if there is a bit of a return to print at a smaller scale, I think what we're seeing right now is kind of what music journalism and writing will look like going forward. I think you'll see it on, in a newsletter, probably on a place like Substack, or an indie blog or WordPress. I don't think there will be, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, I'll be happy to be proven wrong, but I think we just saw Pitchfork's obituary. I don't think it got subsumed into GQ, and they'll keep it going for a little bit, and then I think it'll slowly just fade off into the distance. But for us as writers, this is the place, and it is actually a good time, or a time of opportunity, I think.
Have you seen any music writers come over? I think my gum just cracked. I know I'm breaking every cardinal rule by chewing gum, but we're not on TV, so
it's all right.
Have you seen any music writers, some of the biggins, come over to Substack?
Not yet, but I don't. What I have seen is I've seen some people come over. I haven't seen any specific from Pitchfork yet. They're it's possible they're there and I just haven't seen them. I think we will see that slow matriculation, whether it's here or another newsletter provider. I think here there's more momentum and maybe some more buzz, and so they might gravitate to it first. But it's a big tent, and if they want to come here and as a place to land, I'm all for it. So,
well, in keeping with the tradition and the spirit of On Repeat and what you do, who do you read?
How long have you got, man? So
give us the hot take.
Hot take. So I am not blowing smoke, but I read abandoned albums and listen to it. There's one called
Thank
Check
you.
This Out. Of course. There's one called Check This Out by Carly Larson that is more or less new music discovery that I read. There's one called Record Store by Maya Lim that is a little bit playlist, a little bit discovery. She's a working musician. I read that one. Nico Cases I read.
Oh, wow. I didn't know she was on Substack.
It's pretty good. Usually it's just some sort of dispatch from wherever she is on the road or at home. And that one's good. There's one called Critical Conditions by Wayne Robbins that used to write for Cream that I really like.
Okay.
Listening Sessions by Robert Gilbert that is usually like once every 10 days or so, and he does a huge deep dive into either an artist or a record. That one to me feels more like New York Times Magazine, like where you would read it over coffee or breakfast instead of on your phone.
Okay.
New Directions in Music is a good one. Let's see. There's one, a guy named Matt that does Fog Chaser, which is normally would be really out of my wheelhouse, but it's awesome. He actually composes original stuff. And when he composes a new song, that becomes the newsletter. And he usually couples that with like a poem or some other reading and some photos he's taken along the way. And it's instrumental. It's really good. There was a cycle of 12, and I want to say he went through every key, but I'm totally botching this. But there was actually a rhyme and reason to what he had done, and each 12 had completed a cycle. But it's great.
Interesting.
There's our reality show by a guy named Glenn Cook, whose name you might recognize. He's in the comments on Repeat quite a bit, who does really good photography, but also has done some long form stuff about everything from music festivals to sort of the fallout from school shootings. I mean, he's just an incredibly talented writer.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot.
Yeah.
I guess the point, and I'm forgetting a ton of them. S.W. Loudon's Remember the Lightning.
Sure.
Terry Barr from Medium has one called Dig It. And as far as other Medium alumni, Stanley, who used to write If Ever You're Listening, he's on Substack now too, with a lot of at least new to me, if not emerging artists. I guess the end run here, the too long didn't read, is that there are a ton of really, really good writers writing some really good stuff. And there's something for everyone and every taste.
If there's something for everyone, so like all of these newsletters that you just listed, I'm thinking these are all genre specific. There's no one catch-all like a Spin magazine or even a Cream magazine or a Rolling Stone magazine, which would cover other genres.
Right.
Is there anything like that?
I would like to think that mine is sort of filling that role just with my, no pun intended, my own spin on that sort of thing. There are a few that I think are general, but most of them have really sort of narrowed down and are in a lane that they want to be in. Critical Conditions is a little bit like that, mostly because the author Wayne Robbins was from Cream. And so he's sharing some of the work he wrote then, some new stuff, sort of, what he's doing today as far as covering newer music. But I don't know that there's a sort of just general, sort of broad umbrella sort of publication. And if there is, I haven't found it yet.
Which is a great segue into a playlist.
Yes.
If somebody's listened to this far, they will be listening to a series of songs. Do you have 10 songs?
I can get them.
Let's do it.
All right. Hang on. Let me...
What's the criteria that went into your top 10?
My own personal top 10 was incredibly subjective in that if I liked it a lot, I marked it. And then if I found myself coming back to it over and over the course of the year, or however, since it had been released, that was pretty much it. A lot of there was a lot of records this year that came out that I loved for about 2 weeks and then promptly forgot about, or just kind of fell off my radar. But a lot of them, these ones were ones that I felt had wheels and really stayed with me throughout the year, where I would either, come back to it kind of out of nowhere, or it never really was too far away from a playlist, or, I never really put the record back into the shelf. It sort of was always out, propped up against the cabinet. And so if it was one of those, then it was luck. And then from there, it was just sort of, I came up with I think I had like 20, and then it was trying to force rank them, which was really not easy to do. Sure. The only real guardrail I had was the ones that were, either live albums or remixes or remasters were their own separate column. I did not include those, but other than that, if I loved it on its merits, then it was in the mix.
Where do you find the time? Because I barely have time to do what I do.
I don't mean this to sound trite at all or cliche, but I found that I had to make the time. Like I put it on my schedule. And some of that is by default. My day job starts at 4 a.m. So I get up at 2:30, and, while I'm drinking coffee and eating breakfast, I can't listen to the radio or TV. So that's a great time to write or hammer out an outline. I usually have a couple hours after work before my younger son gets home from school. That's a good time. And I also have my phone, the Notes app, not the Substack Notes, the actual Apple Notes one, where I just scribble stuff, outlines or fragments of ideas or whatever. And then the other thing I have at my desk at work is I still have a teletype. I work for an airline, and I still have a teletype machine printer.
What's a teletype?
A teletype printer, like the old school, like where you would get like teletype messages, like a dot matrix printer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. The short version is I have technology at my fingertips that is truly mind-blowing, even in the course of my career that would have been science fiction even 10 or 12 years ago. But it's also sort of juxtaposed with this very anachronistic stuff like string entries and a teletype printer. But my point is it goes off all day, and then I rip off the messages, and then I use the back and write stuff down. So like a lot of almost everything that you read on Repeat started as a scribbled out draft on the back of teletype paper. And that's sort of how I do it. So it's more of, as the ideas come, I write them down really fast, and then it's sort of easier to sort of flesh them out as I go.
All right, Kevin, look, I'll let you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, by the way. I really appreciate it.
No, right. I love it. This will be a little forum for everyone to hopefully just another way to chat and about what we do.
I like it. I think it's a great idea, man.
I'm going to hit end recording.
Mix and Match was written and produced by Keith R. Higgins. It was recorded at Thunderlove Studio, where it was engineered by Tony Jackson and mixed by Diane Coughlin. A new episode drops every Monday night. Thanks for listening.